Now, what we all know right now, the government is trying to play every card to make sure that Rigathi Gachagua is unable to fight his impeachment. Now, as I speak this night, we have received certain, and I say these are heavy details and it's heavy intel and guns to what is currently being played out. Should I remind you that yesterday a summon was issued on the deputy president to appear at the DCI headquarters on the claims that he had said that there was a poison or there was a poisoning attempt or an assassination attempt not once but twice against his life. Now that is one of the cases that the DCI are trying to verify and also lay it on Rigathi Gachagua. Now putting that aside, intel that we are receiving is that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission right now is working on obtaining the legal documents to go ahead and freeze the bank accounts of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and that of his sons, that is Eacc Gachagua and Kevin Gachagua. Now, if this happens, this makes the deputy president immobile and unable to cater for the finances of his lawyers. Are you getting the point? To cater for the finances of even financing his own office if he wins the case against the impeachment that has been brought against him. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, there is a certain belief that and the certain intel and rumor that is being speculated that they are questioning over 50 million Kenyan shillings that has been transacted through Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's account in the last two years since the year 2020. In the last 2 to 3 years since the year 2022 when they came into office. Remember, we were told that he was being questioned of obtaining wealthy through proceeds of corruption amounting to 5.2 billion Kenyan shillings. But when they look at the transactions that has happened between his accounts and the accounts of his sons, it is amounting to over 50 billion Kenyan shillings. Now, to verify the count and the claim that had been placed upon Rigathi Gachagua, upon investigation, the DCI together with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, they seek the legal documentations right now to freeze these bank accounts and even to freeze some of the assets belonging to the deputy president. Now, if RUTO allows them to make that move, if they make that move, that means they have crippled Gachagua financially, and he might lack the necessary funds to go ahead and continue funding his said case against the government, because right now it is him against President William Ruto and the judiciary. Remember, in the year 2020, this one won't be the first time that accounts of Rigathi Gachagua has been freezed. In the year 2020, under the regime of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Rigathi Gachagua's accounts were freezed on the claims that an amount of 12.4 billion had been transacted through his accounts. And after freezing, it was claimed that his accounts were freezed with over 200 million Kenyan shillings. Until he became the deputy president in the year 2022, that money remained freezed. And most of his accounts, even his lands and assets, were freezed too. So when he became the president, that's why the case was thrown out by the Director of Public Prosecution, then holding the office was Nurdin Haji, the current Director of Public Prosecution. Now, if the then Director of Public Prosecution, who was the then DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, Nurdin Haji, was then he was overseeing the corruption allegations against Gachagua and how he was being investigated. and they had tangible info and tangible intel that, you know what, a lot of corruption has happened under him. So that is why we freezed this money. And there was tangible evidence, because you can't freeze the money for somebody for 2 years without having concrete info, concrete intel that, you know what, or concrete evidence to put against the man. Now they put aside those files. Now this man, the director of the then ODPP, is currently the director of National Intelligence Service. So he knows Gachagua inside out, because he himself led an investigation against him. But Gachagua made a very foolish move, where he attacked NIS director Newdin Haji after the Gen Z demonstrations, and claimed that he was incompetent and deserved to be fired. So these people, once they combine their resources, they come up with a very concrete file which proves that Rigathi Gachagua has been involved in corruption, and then they acquire the correct or the legal documentations to go ahead and freeze his bank accounts. Yes, that is what is happening. So a lot of people right now think that the president is currently quiet and he is allowing the judicial system to take its course. But you know, the government can work through different channels to intimidate you to a point that you see no need of continuing to fight against these people. It's better that I remain with what I have and leave the boxing ring before being knocked out, because he is on the verge of being knocked out. In 2017, in 2018 and 2019, a lot played out when Gachagua went against Uhuru Kenyatta. So Uhuru Kenyatta sought for he ordered the DCI to seek every detailed info that they could obtain against the then member of parliament of Padira, Rigathi Gachagua, and they did. They acquired, and then they went ahead to acquire the legal documentation and warrants to freeze his account. So it wouldn't be something out of the blues that a card like that is currently being prepared to be played against the DP. That is why you are seeing the summons coming in. And once the summons comes in and he fails to honor the summons, he is also putting himself on the danger of being arrested, where a warrant of arrest can be issued on the basis that this man failed to honor a summon to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Now, once all these aspects combine on one person, that is why you hear the man is okay this minute and he is not okay the next, because of how these cans are playing out. Now, if the Eacc, on whatever they're going to do, now it's not only his assets that are going, or his accounts that are going to be freezed, also the accounts of his sons, who have been named several times in the said impeachment allegations on how they were used by their father to conduct corruption. So if they freeze Gachagua's assets and those of his sons, then that means they might even go for his wife. Then that means Gachagua either to continue being even the deputy president, if he wins the case, maybe if he goes to seek help from friends and to seek help from other politicians, like RUTO did during the 2020, from 2018 to 2022 general election. You know, RUTO is a man that forged a very concrete relationship with financiers. Now, without financing, even people that fight for you, even the lawyers that you see following Gachagua right now, they need to be paid, and they are paid very huge amounts of money. Now, if he does not have the money to pay for that, that means he is doomed, literally. They will start withdrawing one by one. That's it for now. Tell me on your take in regards to this move that is being played by the EACC and the DCI to try and freeze the assets of Rigathi Gachagua together with that or with those of his sons. Leave a comment.